We're live.
It's going. There now it's scrolling. Okay. How are things?
Good.
You've been under the weather?
A little. Yes and no. Just
yes
tired.
and no.
Yes and no. Feeling better. And just in time to go back to work. Whoop, whoop.
That's always clutch.
Yep.
That is always the clutchest of times, being under the weather when you're off and better when you have to work. I was always like that in school with March break.
Yeah, it's
every time
worst.
I was off for that break is when I get sick, and it'd be better just in time to go back to school.
Perfect timing.
It's the most perfectest timing of all of the timings. Did you see this? Not this. Hold on.
Not this.
Take two. So there's this thing going around, the
COVID.
No, worse.
This
thing's been haunting my dreams. I'm gonna put it on the screen share here. They're called Murder Hornets.
I did see that. That's insane.
Look at the size of that hornet.
And like,
is that like predator mandibles?
Yeah, is that like the queen, or there's another one where the queen is like even bigger?
Yeah, so the queen is apparently can be up to like 2 inches.
Yeah, like
in size or something.
So that's probably the queen.
Yeah, she looks vicious.
Crazy.
There was a good picture. I don't think that's not in this article, but for scale, I'd showed it on somebody's chest, and it was like bigger than like a brooch.
Damn, that's insane though.
Vicious.
Like, how are these things even? How do they even exist?
Like the honeybee hive, and then they like just shred the bees, like decapitate them and all that stuff, and then take over the. Yeah, but apparently it kills over 50 people a year.
In China.
Yeah,
or wherever.
Over there. Yeah, they're Asian. They're Asian murder hornets. Yeah, but they it's insane. Like, we didn't have enough to worry about. What with, global warming.
Yeah.
And
damn climate
everything
change.
Else. Yeah, that's the problem. It's the climate
and the rest.
But they are they're scary.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Killer bees before freaked me out, but
they were bad enough. Absolutely, they were bad enough. And then, people are like, oh, well, bumblebees they're nice and they don't sting you and whatever, and they're cute and whatnot.
Yeah, and they're
but it's Camaros. Like, they're still bees, man. Like, this is not cool, bees. Get out of here.
Those bees be tripping and murdering people.
And murdering
wasps. Not like the sophisticated wasps.
That's right. The Ant-Man and the wasps. How's your Marvel movie marathon going?
I have 5 minutes left in Black Panther to watch. I would have finished it, but I was watching it in the main room, the family room. Well, Asher was taking a shower, and she came out, sat downstairs. Movie was on. She gave me a look, and I just turned it off.
That's fair.
So I'll finish it the other.
That's reasonable.
It's like, well, there's 5 minutes left of the movie, but no, I gotta wait. I gotta watch the 2 extra scenes at the end, so that's like another 15 minutes.
I had jumped ahead, so I wasn't really watching, but I mentioned Emily was watching through, and then so the other day we watched Doctor Strange. It was nice. It was good. And then no, actually before that, it was when I was feeling pretty tired, so I just laid down, and I realized that I hadn't, of all of the MCU movies, I mean, obviously just based on the fact that it's one of the more recent ones that came out, but I've seen Endgame probably the least of all of them. Plus, I watched it again, and yeah, I was just like, I remember liking it, liking some parts, not liking other parts, but I was just like, I cannot let, either Thor or The Incredible Hulk be movies that I've seen more than Endgame. Super like hyped up situation, and expecting a lot, end of an era, all that kind of stuff. But just watching it on the couch and falling asleep once in a while, not terrible. It's just not terrible.
What parts did you fall asleep during?
Oh, I don't know. It was just like me being tired. Like it wasn't because I was bored or anything like that. I was just like fall asleep a little bit. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I was like, oh, it's a pretty just fun movie if you don't dive deep into it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I'm back in. So then I was thinking I was gonna get into Homecoming tonight.
Yeah.
And then what's that? Then it's Thor, then Black Panther. So yeah, we'll see. That might be what's on the docket for the next week. Next couple
Infinity
of movies
Wars next after Black Panther,
and then Captain Marvel, Endgame,
and then
yes,
Marvel, then Wasp, and then Far From Home.
Yeah,
and then all done.
Tomorrow is Star Wars Day, so tomorrow might not be a Marvel movie day. We'll see. It's probably going to be a Star Wars day. Star Wars and The Last Dance.
Or just The Mandalorian.
That too.
Because they're what? I think the longest is 40 minutes?
Yeah, the longest one is I would say at most 40, 45.
Yes, you can plow through
10 episodes in no time. Well, not no time, but
sometimes.
Because but like it's the screen time or the runtime says 40 minutes, but because of it's like super long end credits. So that's probably like 5 to 8 minutes cut out. So whatever the runtime is minus almost 10 minutes. And
I think I told you when I sat down to watch the first episode and I saw like the runtime was 36 minutes. I'm like, oh, this must not be the full episode.
Yeah,
cut off somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, whoops. Is this just
no? This is only a half hour thing.
It's like episode 1, part 1.
Yeah, it's just the teaser.
Yeah, but that's actually a pretty good idea because you can run through that in the length of Endgame probably.
Yeah,
because it's 10 episodes or 8. 10.
Yeah, I think 10.
10
sounds like a nice round number they would do.
Yeah, so it's at like 5
it's not
and
like
a half
Netflix
hours.
13. It's not HBO 8.
Yeah,
it's a happy medium
right in there.
Yeah. I also might check out they're doing that behind the scenes docuseries on that too. Yeah,
I keep seeing that kind of pop up when I hit Star Wars or something on Disney Plus. Let's see, but I haven't really checked it out too much.
I also want to check out the was it the Imagination or whatever documentary series on there?
Is that the one
Disney?
The
first one's about setting up the park
one?
Yeah.
That looks really interesting.
I think one of them's like an hour and a half. I'm like, oh, this is a lot to sit through.
Yeah.
I went through
I might also
all episodes of Tiger King, but they were less than an hour. I'm not saying I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, people are watching it. Let's see what this is about. Oh,
okay. That's what it's about.
It's just about America, more or less.
I might even... Have you watched a lot of Clone Wars at all? Like, not episode 2, but the cartoon?
No.
It's really good, but I never got into it.
They lost me when they released, I think it was the first 3, or put the first 3 episodes together for like theatrical release. Just like
really?
Made me think it was going to be an animated movie, but then I was like, no, this is just they edited 3 episodes of the show together and then released it, and it was not well received. So I said, "Listen, not a good precursor to the show." But apparently, the show is nuts now.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know if it's just good now, or because like I'm looking at the Disney Plus thing right now, and there's 7 seasons of Clone Wars. And
I
they're
think
all
it was one of those things
less,
where gradually built up. That's
like
my
Agents of
understanding.
Shield.
Yeah, I want to get back into watching that too. I watched the first 3 seasons. I think season 4 is when they introduced Ghost Rider, and I watched the first half, and then it got away from me, and I just never picked it up again. And now that it's ending, I think it's a good time to polish that bad boy off.
There's also the thing with Clone Wars is that there's the Clone Wars cartoon, but then there's also like a bunch of shorts and like in between stuff, and I just don't know the order. I'm like, there's a lot of
I hate when they do that.
There's a lot of Clone Wars here, and I don't know which is the one that I'm supposed to watch. But there's
watch the CG animated series, not the original animated series, the 2D version.
Because it does seem like the new wave of Star Wars movies that are going to be coming after the Skywalker saga are going to deal with a bunch of characters from here, or at least like 1 or 2 characters. Or even if it's like
the setting. Wasn't one rumor that it's going to take place 400 years pre episode 1?
Yeah. Oh God.
So like, I guess the Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, but like, isn't there already a Knights of the Old Republic cartoon?
That was, or I know there was video games, and then there was
maybe that's what it was. Yeah, books.
Yeah, the mythology's too grand for me. Although for some reason I knew at the end of spoilers Mandalorian about the Darksaber, and I never seen anything. I just said, "Oh, the Darksaber!" Like, but exactly. I don't know this yet. I know this.
I'm like, yeah, that was
one ingrained in my DNA now.
Yeah, I was like, why do I know that thing?
Yeah,
and I was like, it hasn't been in any movies. I haven't read an actual Star Wars, like a novelization, since I was very young.
Yeah, and I got a book from a book fair when I was in elementary school. It was about
Star Wars lore.
Oh, it's not even just lore. It was, I think it had Luke, I think his daughter, and Han and Leia's son, not Ben.
Yeah,
or Kylo Ren. And I read that, and that's I think the extent of what I read. I'm like, oh, there's more Star Wars stuff, and it's after this.
It must have just been like random readings through other Star Wars stuff where it's like, oh, Darksaber, cool.
Yeah.
And then it never showed up, so I didn't really like. Well, like I didn't, really, yeah, it's there. It's a thing in the Star Wars universe. So
it's like I discovered that the kids have an old. Well, it's not old. The thing itself is old, but this is a newer. Like the Skippets.
Yeah,
the thing wrapped around your yeah. So we had some of those in the shed, and so we gave it to the kids. And someone was like, "How do you do this?" I'm like, "I think I remember how to do this." And I did like four skips with one foot, and I'm in pain.
Did it? Yeah,
and this was yesterday.
Crank on your ankles and be like, "Well, I'm up for a week."
Yeah, pretty much. My quads and my ass just hurt from like the 4 jumps that I did. And the most embarrassing thing was it didn't fit around my ankle. I had to take my shoe off to put it on.
Yep.
Then like, I don't know if this is gonna spin around. I might just take a header. But I got it.
Did you ever have I never had one. My cousin had one, but it was like so it looked like Saturn, right? It's got like the bouncy part in the middle, and then the ring.
Yes.
Around it, and then you just kind of hop on that.
Yeah, no, I didn't have it, but I know what you're talking about.
So bad at that thing, like unbelievably bad when I was a kid. And I'm like, hey, like I feel like my balance is pretty good. Like maybe I could go for it. And I just feel like it would be such a bad idea now to try it.
Oh yeah,
it would be like one bounce, and then like either bounce forward or backwards, and then that's it. Like, all right,
yeah,
good.
It's effort. Like, you're not gonna try this hippity hop, and you just know you do one hop, it's just gonna explode on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fear because Summer's learning to ride a bike, and I'm fear of like, I may pick up a bike and we'll go biking together. That I'm just gonna like go off and then just down I go, just off to the side into a bush. Because it's been 20 plus years since I've been on a bicycle.
Like, do you know how to ride? Like, I don't know if I want you to teach me how to ride a bike. It's so easy. You just,
it's like riding a bike. Yeah. That's where the expression comes from. That's why it is so easy. Oh man, yeah, that's unnerving.
How long has she been working on that? Or
well, my dad got the bike last year, and so we started it last summer. And she could do it, but she couldn't get herself going. And I realized after, like, if you want to teach a kid how to ride a bike, you should probably have one that doesn't have like a reverse brake on the pedal, so they can spin and adjust their legs to get going.
Yeah,
because every time she pushes back, it's just you're not going anywhere. So now she's got to like almost like paddle with her foot on the ground to get it going.
Yeah,
but she's getting there.
That's good.
She likes watching her feet rather than the road. So
that's
I predict I predict an accident. But
that's happening for sure.
So I told you this today that we're in the
end game now.
We're super old, and this little ditty came out 18 years ago today. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
So let's watch this, and then we'll discuss.
Who am I? You sure you want to know? If somebody told you I was just your average ordinary guy, not a care in the world, somebody lied. Truth is, it wasn't always like this. There was a time when life was a lot less complicated. Can I take your picture for the school paper?
Sure. In this lab, we have 15.
How are they supposed to be in high school?
One's missing.
James Franco looks like he's smoking 20 cartons a day.
Are you all right? I'm fine.
Pete, look, you're changing. I know I would do exactly the same thing at your age.
Early 2000s, like punk rock music in the back.
No,
yeah,
not exactly.
Because there's just juice on the floor.
Wow.
Peter, may I introduce my father, Norman Osborn?
Great honor to meet you, sir.
I don't think there's an attractive person in this movie.
Science whiz.
Nope. Well, I don't know. Willem Dafoe.
Something of a science whiz.
He's on my list.
Got that jawline.
What the hell was that?
Like if she's wearing a nice culturally appropriate outfit.
To stop it.
For a white girl.
Great power comes great responsibility.
This
Oh,
is
he
my
said it.
gift.
Wow.
It is my curse.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Yes.
I'm Spider-Man.
Do I get to say thank you this time?
Get it? Spin because he's a spider.
Close call though.
You do too much. You're not Superman, you know.
Okay.
He's like, I know, May. I'm fucking Spider-Man. God.
And cut.
That was a good movie.
So-
I enjoyed that movie so much when it came out.
Were you there opening night? I was there opening night.
I can't remember, actually. I don't remember when I saw the movie. It would have been, so wait, what's that? 2002?
2002, yep. Oh, geez. Still playing.
I don't hear it.
Still playing for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I was. I'm sure I saw it in theater though. There's really no way I wouldn't have. Other than, it wasn't playing in Carlton Place because our theater,
Okay.
2 movies. But if I didn't see it on opening night, I was definitely there that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that was the thing that started everything off. Superhero
I
movies.
remember vividly being in the audience and having people behind me just freaking out. The first scene when after Ben's shot and then Peter takes off to go after the carjacker, and just the shot, like the changing from like, oh, it's Toby, and then it's CGI Toby, then he's web swinging and all that stuff. Everyone's just like, yes, this is perfect.
He's so good.
It's like, yeah, it's 2002 graphics. Okay, it looks realish.
Watching that stuff now, it's like you have to put yourself in 2002 mode, 2008 mode. Like even watching Iron Man again, like or even like Toy Story. Watching Toy Story 1, I think we've talked about this before too, but like watching the Toy Stories as they get like to the newer versions of them, I'm like, Toy Story 1 was amazing. That was the first like Pixar CGI movie, right?
Yeah, the first full length.
The first full length one. And at the time, like that one I definitely remember seeing in Carlton Place. And I was like, wow, this is the future.
Mm-hmm.
And now seeing a Toy Story movie and then like watching Toy Story 1 and then even just watching Toy Story 3 like back to back, you're like, wow, Toy Story 1 looks terrible. Like it just does.
Yeah.
But at the time, there was nothing, like not even anything close to
you would believe a toy would be alive with that movie.
Yeah. And I just remember being so amazed at the time and then rewatching it. And I'm like, yeah, so jagged on the edges there. Like, why is everything so pixelated?
Well, going back to your point, like I would watch Iron Man and be astonished by the graphics, but I just go back and watch Black Panther and
then see how bad it is.
Yeah, like just like at the end,
the final scene. Oh, it's so bad.
He's the like shot of Wakanda where he's with Killmonger. I'm just like, these are two dudes on a green screen.
Yeah,
it's insanely obvious. It's like they took no time at all to try to blend better.
Yeah, when they're like that, pretty much that entire like final fight scene between those two is like, it looks so bad. And I don't know if it's like because it's a bit darker and the lights, I don't know, like just nothing looks good about it. But then you watch things like Civil War and you're like, wow, like why does this look better? Like they had years after Civil War to get better at this. But
yeah, like I don't get it. It's like you have more money, and you had more time.
It's not like you're cutting corners. Like they clearly spent a lot of money on Black Panther. Yeah. So it's not like
they made a lot. Absolutely.
Yeah, they made
on that movie too.
Crazy. But it's just, it's insane how bad it looks. But then it's also like we talked about before with I think when we were talking about it was with Far From Home, but you were saying that like very few people filmed their scenes together because there was so much CGI, so many so many cuts, so many CGI. Like you were just acting in front of a chair, which is like good. It's speaks to their ability as an actor to like play off of nothing, like do your reactions without having someone else there. But it's like when everything is CGI, like is it
nothing is CGI?
Yeah, like well, just why even bother having human characters do it? Like just do a CGI movie with voiceovers.
There's see if I can find it. But there, I don't know, I may have sent it to you, but there was a Instagram account after it came out that was just posting all these different behind the scenes images from Far From Home.
Oh yeah.
That were showing out there's certain things that were completely unnecessary. Like you wouldn't believe the amount of CGI that went into this movie.
Yeah,
And
like like they say, if they like CGI'd a school hallway, it's like just go to a school hallway, man.
Oh, worst. And thanks for the share a screen feature. This is one of them, and it's like, again, you won't believe your eyes. So look at that.
Oh yeah. You sent me that one.
They completely CGI'd a gun that Nick Fury was holding,
and like that
and
was
the background
the
and the
we
room
were
that he was
talking
in.
about. That was where Nick Fury wasn't anywhere near, and it's like, but why? Just make the prop.
Yeah,
like I'm sure it didn't need to be a specialized. It was a trank gun. Like you can find one.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a fancy one. It was just a non like important part of the scene. You shoot it and then that's it. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna need to.
Just like,
so
we're under budget here on the VFX, so we'll just make this guy bigger. He could have just had like a straw and everything would have been fine. But that's Marvel for you.
They had that surplus money and they had to spend it somehow.
It's Disney's money. We're all right.
Yeah, otherwise Disney wasn't going to give them that much money for for the next phase.
Yeah. So yeah, you're not in the room. You're not in the city. You're not even holding the gun
on a chair in front of sitting on a chair, holding
half a gun.
Like I just don't even understand. Like if they have half a gun, like I'm sure they have a prop somewhere.
The props department just like, I forgot it. Sorry guys.
Yeah.
I got some red tape. You want to put some dots on there? we'll fix it in post.
I wonder what's gonna happen with like the new movies that are obviously going to be. It's just gonna go. They're going to like go more all in on CGI, of course.
Oh yeah, they don't even make the suits for them anymore. They're all in motion capture shapes.
Yeah, which is too bad. I saw because they're doing a lot of like behind the scenes stuff for Endgame now, right? Because it's a year since it came out, and they're like, oh, here's some pictures we weren't allowed to show off before, and I'm like, no, none of them are wearing what we see in the movie.
Yeah, Tom Holland said he didn't know what suit he was wearing in the movie until the movie came out.
That's crazy. I would be like, but can I also get a copy of that suit?
No.
Just no. Good.
Well, they did that too. There was other behind the scenes of the CG that shows like a screenshot of him on set, and then in the movie he's wearing the Spider-Man suit, but they completely CGI it to get rid of any like creases or folds or anything like that. So again, and the part that pisses me off when I'm watching all these in succession is that after a while, when they're all CG suits, it's just how everyone's masks or helmets just dissolve at will when they're having a big speaking scene.
Yeah,
just for no rhyme or reason, they'll be standing there and then just pixelates away, and then they start talking.
It's nanobots.
Star-Lord, he touches the back of his ear.
Yeah.
Like, at least do something that makes your mask come off. Don't just land and then there you go.
Tony's goes away because nano.
Mm-hmm.
Spidey's goes away because it's Stark Tech. So nano.
Vibranium, Black Panther.
Yeah. And then
I suppose, but still.
And then Star-Lord's the only one that other than that actually wears a mask, right? But yeah, it's definitely like it takes you out of the well, I mean, not that you're like in the movie because obviously
that's not believable.
Yeah,
this 15-year-old with superhuman abilities should be able to take his mask off by pulling it from his head.
Well, now I don't believe this at all.
Let's go, son.
But even just like things going back to Avengers, like the first one, you know, half the time they have to touch their ear to talk, the other half they just talk freely, and like that continues on all the time. And I'm like, for Civil War, it's like, what channel are both sides on? Like, are they on the same? Because they're all talking to each other. Well, not each other, but they're talking to their team. But like, they're not like, okay, well, we'll take channel 3, you guys take channel 4, just so that we don't hear each other. But it's like,
just pretend we're on 3 and we'll actually be on 4, guys. We're gonna listen to all their conversations.
But I'm just like, whatever. It doesn't. Like, it really doesn't matter, but it kind of
does matter.
Yeah,
it does and it doesn't.
Exactly. It shouldn't matter, but it does. But it's just they put so much extra thought into a bunch of other stuff. Like, why not that?
Yeah, it's like if you really pull apart the plot to The Dark Knight, you just know like the entire movie's based on coincidence and happenstance. It's like, what if you didn't catch the Joker and then he couldn't have been arrested and he couldn't have blown up this building and blah 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 blah. Yeah. For the world's greatest detective, he stumbles upon a lot of stuff in those movies.
Hey man, you gotta be lucky to be good. You gotta be good to be lucky.
Fair enough. Did you hear about this Florida man?
Was he good or lucky? When you just said, "Did you hear about this Florida man?" It reminded me of your the segment before with like animals.
The years and years ago. Before time.
The before time. I'm like,
no.
Well, here's an animal.
Florida man was arrested trying to quarantine himself on Disneyland's Discovery Island.
Oh, I see. There's an update there. What's the update on that? Turns out it was not a small world after all, and they found him.
Boom. No, no one was using the park, so he decided I'll just hide out here.
Well, why not? I don't see any.
Yeah, according to the police, the man reported he was unaware the island was in fact restricted on a private property. Well, of course, it's Disney; it's not publicly owned. But I was thinking, that's what I would do if I could
find a theme park and.
Oh yeah, not necessarily go on the rides.
Yeah,
but just if I knew like of a, you don't know.
Like set up the Ferris wheel. Like, oh well, looks like I'm here for a while now.
Well, doesn't it spin for? Oh yeah, then eventually it just stops and then hangs, and then slowly embarks on its way down.
Yeah,
just ride the teacups.
Yeah, it's true. Especially if it's the ones that you like control yourself.
Yeah,
they have that's fine.
Just spin it and then you're good to go.
Throw up a little bit and then be like, all right, next ride.
I think like the Ferris wheel, not a Ferris wheel, merry-go-round or carousel. That would be easy because it's slow, so you can easily press the button and then
hop onto a horse. That's true.
But I think that play because the NBA is looking at.
I was just going to
take it over Disney World, right?
Yeah.
So there's accommodations and stuff there. Just hide out there.
That could be. I wonder how that would work
for them.
If in general? If the NBA, because I heard that they were going to say, look, if we have to, if this is the only way to do it, like have everyone play in the same city and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Disney World would work, and it's like, the players still need to stay somewhere. Mm-hmm. And they have like hotels and stuff there. But it's like, how long can you really, unless they just say, all right, we're going to do like a quick 5 games, get people back into, basketball shape and then just go right into playoffs. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know. That's, I want a winner for this year, but I just, it's I have a really hard time thinking it's actually going to happen. Same with hockey. But it's also like Disney's probably like, well, we're not making any money, so feel free to pay us to play here.
Well, Vegas is also did the same thing. They would reach out to the NBA and the NHL about, I think especially for the NBA, is house everybody, including their families, and camera crew and all that stuff in Mandalay Bay.
Yeah.
And then bring on staff, so hire staff to cater for them and have them stay at the Luxor next door. And then they also have like the Thomas and Mack Center, and then they have, I guess, T-Mobile if they're going to use that, but also a convention center they're going to set up courts in. So you have 3 venues within the same city that they can do all that in.
Yeah. I hope it works out, but it just seems like it's a well, the other thing I was reading was, you know, they would obviously need to test the players.
Yep.
But right now it seems like it would be really bad PR for any league that starts, just because obviously the testing hasn't been up to par in the States.
Right.
Just having, you know, just in terms of number of tests, and for, you know, for a professional sports league to hijack that many tests when so many other people need them, like, it just doesn't look good. And so I wonder who the first sports league is going to be that says, yeah, all right, we're going to need, you know, 1,000 tests for everyone, more than that. And you know, basically be taking those tests away from the hospitals or, you know, places that need them. And it's just like, until you have widespread testing that's easily accessible, it would just not look good for any organization to be like, yep, we're going to hoard these just so that we can, you know, play sports. At the same time, I'm like, get these sports back ASAP. You know, like,
so I was like, well, you know what? Do I want to be tested for something like this, or do I want to watch the NBA play again? Tough call.
I want to watch sports, but I also want everyone to get tested first. So,
see, Bill Gates said about the current testing models is rather useless because it takes so long to get a result. So if you're already asymptomatic, you've already infected everybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not feeling too great. Let me take a test. All right. Well, I know I'm sick now, and I haven't got the result back yet.
Yeah. I don't know. But like, that's the thing is, right now there's not enough testing for everyone, so they're only testing sick people. And at that point, like you said, like it's already too late. Yeah, it's already too late that you've been passing it off to people. So like, you need to have tests for everyone, like, well in advance before they get sick, not when they're sick. But right now, because they don't have enough, they can only test the people who are showing symptoms, which, as we know, isn't the like vast majority of people that have it.
No, they're saying too, because of like the panic at the beginning of, if you feel sick, just stay home. People are now saying, well, our hospitals are empty, so if you are sick, you can come to the hospital for other things.
Yeah.
But people aren't doing it because they were told to stay away. So people are getting sick and dying from things that they could have got checked out because they were told not to go to the hospital.
That's true.
It's catch-22.
Catch-22.
That's right. Well, the turntables have turned. I was thinking, this is just a stupid thought that popped in my head. So, you know, the Xbox's new, or next gen, is the Xbox Series X.
Yes.
So if you have the packaging and you can't find it, would you say, have you seen my Xbox Series Xbox?
You might.
And I don't know why that popped in my head earlier today. I was just thinking of, like, that's just such a stupid naming convention.
I think I was reading something about it before, but I don't think that it's like, not that they're getting rid of the Xbox name, but that they're just, this is one part of their like lineup, right? The Series X, the Series whatever. But it's just the fact that they started with Xbox Series X is just, it's like a naming nightmare.
Yeah, because wasn't it Project Spartan originally?
Scarlet, wasn't it?
Scarlet, yes.
Yeah.
Spartan was someone.
Maybe that was PlayStation.
Well, I remember the Wii was originally called Revolution. Nintendo Revolution.
Nah, the Wii is better.
Yeah, the one just sounds stupid.
Yeah. But no, I can't remember exactly what the article said, but it was basically like the official name of it, like it's not actually it is going to be Xbox Series X, like on all the marketing and on the Xbox box.
See?
Yeah. uh, but they have a plan for how the naming is actually going to make sense. But everything is just named terribly these days.
Yeah.
Like, just I remember reading in like 2012, 2013 when Android phones had the worst names to manage like ever, because they always had their carriers and 4G LTE, Samsung Spark, like whatever.
Yeah.
And then it kind of, everyone kind of backed off and they just went the numbers route. So, oh, it's the Galaxy S10, Galaxy S9, whatever. And then now it's like back to being terrible, like the iPhone 11 Pro Max. And then like,
yeah, because they all have their lines and their variations. Like Samsung, they got the Tab E and the Tab A and the Tab S.
Yeah. And like working at Best Buy, someone's like, I need a case for my Samsung. I'm like, here's a generic.
Oh God.
Like this will fit an 8-inch tablet. That's it. Even when iPads were like, you either had an iPad or an iPad mini, and it didn't matter what number you had because it was all 9.7-inch iPads. They all fit the same cases, so you either had the big one or the small one, and that was it. Every case fit everything. Now it's like, do you have the 6th gen iPad, the 7th gen one? Is it 10.2 inches?
Yeah, I want to get a touch cover for my iPad Air. Is it 1 or 2? Because the magnets are a different spot.
Yeah, and it's like Apple used to be the one that was just like, here's the same phone design that we're going to use for 8 years. Any case that we've made in the last 8 years will fit it. And now it's like, new phone, new case, new tablet,
they did that with the iPad, right? You had like the iPad, then the iPad 2, and then was it iPad 3, and then there was like the new iPad.
Yeah, but that was when everyone. That was when everyone thought they were just going to go with, all right, this is going to be iPad, 2015.
Yeah.
And then the next one was just going to be called iPad 2016. And that way you wouldn't need to know anything. Yeah, you wouldn't need to know much about it. You would just need to know the year that it came out. That didn't last very long, because then they had minis, airs, and pros as well. So
now there aren't the pros in different sizes. No, the pros, it's a 10.5, and the non-pros are 9.7. Yeah,
but the regular non-pro now is 10.2.
Oh God.
And then they have the actual, like the new gen iPad Pros, which are 11 inches and 12.9 inches. And then, but even those ones, they have like the iPad Pro 2020 is actually the 4th generation of iPad Pro. And then the iPad Pro 2018 is the 3rd generation. And it's crazy. Like the things that are actually written on the box, because it says the name of the product, the year it came out, and then which generation. And it's like, there's a lot of information, and they look exactly the same. So yeah, naming stuff, just, it's so much easier just to be like iPhone 2020. That's it. That's why Samsung kind of changed their naming stuff. Like they skipped some years. They went from the Galaxy S10 to the Galaxy S20, but it's basically because it's the one that came out in 2020. It's the 2020 Galaxy, and then next year it'll be the Galaxy 21 because it came out in 2021. Like, it just makes it easier to know which year it came out. Also, they didn't want to be a year behind Apple on their stuff, so.
But who knows what's going to happen now, right?
Yeah.
I can imagine phone sales are going to be crap because
So bad.
it's like your purchase is based on holding it in your hand, all the tactile and
Yeah.
it's gonna order. Well, except for people with Apple, they'll just order it blindly anyway.
That's true. But it's like I don't know. I think it's also going to be a thing where people realize, like, depending on how long this goes and how many delays there are with phone manufacturing and stuff like that, people might be like, hey, my 3-year-old phone, not that bad. Like, I don't need to,
Yeah.
I don't need to, like, not having the ability to do an upgrade. They might just be like, oh, actually, like, this is fine that I don't get the new whatever on launch day or, launch week or pre-order because there's, whatever bonuses. It might be one of those situations where they're just like, yeah, well, I guess I'll just wait. But
what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, spend $1,800 on a phone.
Yeah, I don't know what's worse, the naming convention or the pricing models.
Definitely the pricing, because you can just
You don't
be
have to
like,
call the name.
yeah, you could just say, well, I want the new iPhone. Okay. And then you see the price. I don't want the new iPhone.
I don't want the iPhone that much. Did you see that they have determined what was the biggest box office bomb of 2019?
No, what was it?
Guess.
The
answer might surprise you.
Oh, so what, we're BuzzFeed now? All right, biggest box office bomb of 2019. Is it animated?
Okay, it's heavily CGI'd.
Is it Aladdin?
I'll give you 4.
Okay,
it's one of these 4. They're at the bottom. So Gemini Man, Terminator, Dark Fate, Cats, and Dark Phoenix.
Oh, Cats. Oh, Dark Phoenix in there. No, I'll still say Cats. It has to be Cats, right? Aren't they releasing a new version with less
the butthole
CGI?
version?
Yeah, the butthole version. I didn't want to say it, but yeah.
This is YouTube. You can say butthole.
Yeah, that's right.
It was Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, that's
$133 million at the loss.
So bad.
Like Deadline, crunch the numbers. They pressed the button, crunch.
Yeah.
And it took into account, VOD, TV revenue, I guess, when they bought the rights to show them in Blu-ray, and yeah, it's Dark Phoenix.
But did they end up losing? They lost money, right? They had to. It's not like
$133 million.
Oh, that's how much they lost. I thought you were just saying, yeah, they made $133 million.
No, they lost. That's how much they lost.
Damn, that's so bad. That movie was absolutely terrible.
Terminator: Dark Fate lost 122, and Will Smith
was that second.
Mustafa,
yeah,
lost 111.
And Cats. I guess
it actually doesn't have Cats in the run here.
But
it's 113.6.
I wonder which. Do you have the numbers of how much each of them cost to produce?
You can talk among yourselves. I get
it. Which one costs the least to produce? Because it's like, I feel like it would be Cats, but then I don't know, maybe not.
I gotta imagine Dark Phoenix had to cost a lot just based on contracts that people are under from being in multiple movies,
right?
Leading up, you get the multiplier for everyone that you were in.
That's what I'm saying.
$200 million budget
for Cats.
Dark Phoenix.
For Dark Phoenix, and so that means it only made like
it made 200. It was a $200 million budget. It made 250 worldwide, and you got to count in. There's usually around $100 million in
marketing,
marketing.
Yeah,
printing the copies for the theaters.
Yeah,
and what have you.
That's crazy. I can't believe
the budget for Cats was 80 to 100 million. It made 75. $75, not million. $75.
Yeah, 3 people went to go see the movie in IMAX.
Then you have the flip side. You have Universal with Trolls.
Yeah,
that apparently made more money with the second one on VOD than they did theatrically with the first movie. So what do? You just change your business model going forward?
Well,
because they've
or
AMC theaters, I think,
change?
in Cinemark or whatever the other theaters, they're banning Universal releases, which I don't think they're going to do.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, don't show the latest Fast and Furious or Jurassic World 3.
It's like I'm surprised that it made that much, because I don't know, I never saw it, but I heard Trolls was like decent enough.
The first one,
the first one. Is it a musical? Because this one seems like it's a musical. Like it's all just
a musical in like the sense, like Shrek has all these pop songs in it. I think this one is they just sing pop songs.
Okay, but I'm talking musical like a Disney movie style musical, right? Like Aladdin, where the songs are part of the movie, not just like, oh hey, we're having a singing competition, so that's why there's songs in there. You know what I mean?
I don't know, but it's probably that.
I feel like Trolls 1 was more of just like a movie that had background music, and Trolls 2 is more of like the characters are the ones doing the singing. But I don't know.
My sources tell me they were singing in the movie. Sources being the wife texting me, who's watching online. She says they sing in it. We have a viewer.
Houston, we have one.
Another thing popped in. So, from what we know and have seen, do you think Michael Bay is an actual good filmmaker?
No.
Or just his movies can be, shot by anybody?
Absolutely, his movies can be shot by anybody. Like,
because we do enjoy some of his movies.
Yeah, but we don't enjoy them for their movies. Like, we just enjoy them because they're,
in spite of Michael Bay.
Yeah, they're fun.
Because his movies made a lot of money.
Yep.
Like Bad Boys 2, Armageddon, all the Transformers made money. The Island didn't.
But I think we can both agree that of all the Transformers movies, the first one was the most just fun, right? Like
I said, fun. You didn't say good.
No,
fun.
But that's how I feel about most of Michael Bay movies, is that they're fun to watch. They're not good movies. Like, no one should be rushing out to go see the new Michael Bay movie. But it's a fun, forget about everything, go into sleep mode and just watch and have fun. Whereas there's other movies where you actually want to watch because there's plot, there's character development, there's a lot of stuff. Transformers, you're just watching for the action, the CGI, and
I was thinking that too.
Optimus saying, "I am Optimus Prime." That's really the only reason you're watching.
From what I remember of the first Transformer, or actually any of the Transformers, is that the action sequences, especially the robot fighting, is not very good.
No, it really isn't.
Because, as you remember, all the Autobots are heading into the city to fight the Decepticons, and yet half of them don't show up until like the end of the
Halfway,
fight.
yeah, exactly.
And it's
like you guys
3
were right
seconds
behind
into-
each other.
Yeah, where did Optimus go?
Yeah. Also,
Hell if I know.
how is that truck like keeping up with the rest of them? Also, you like Optimus, just a lot of them, like you can fly. Why are you driving?
Shut up.
Just there's a lot of things wrong with those movies, but the fun factor is incredibly high. It's just like Bad Boys, right? Like they're not amazing movies. And we've talked about this before, but like they're not great, but they're just fun to watch. I thought
I'd say-
Armageddon was pretty good. Like I think that was a fun, good movie for sure. But that was like old Michael Bay.
Yeah. Ooh, I saw this popping online now that we're talking about plots and stuff. You hear or see people going on about a possible plot hole with Back to the Future.
Yeah, I saw that. And then
So-
how it got
Yeah, so for those uninitiated, the plot hole is they're saying has to do with Marty interacting with his parents back in 1955, and it all has to do with their final encounter before he goes back at the enchantment dance, where as he tells them a little bit of his history, which is when you have a kid and he accidentally sets the carpet on fire, go easy on him. And then he hightails it out of there, and then they say, Marty, that's a nice name. And then flash forward to 1985, they have 3 kids, and this kid, a third kid's named Marty, not the first one.
Not the first one, yeah.
And he looks just like the guy they were in school with for a week.
Yeah.
And nobody's like, he looked just like this guy. I know Family Guy made fun of that plot thread when, like, it says George, goes after Lorraine's like, you don't think I didn't notice like he looks just like the guy we had to school with? Like he's my sister, like she had an affair or something. But the Bob Gale, the writer, said that that's not a plot hole because most people would not remember whom they went to school with for a couple days 30 years ago.
Even because he was like, even a semester, like, do you remember everyone you went to high school with?
Yeah. And the name could just have been like a coincidence or
but it's kind of just like, I would say, like, yes, I agree. I don't remember everyone I went to high school with. I remember the major players in my life and stuff, but a lot of people would still remember, or at least have a pretty good recollection of the circumstances around, a first kiss, a first date, a first important part of their relationship kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like that is something that they wouldn't forget. Like the enchantment dance is something that they wouldn't forget. And okay, they might not remember who was dancing next to them
right
when they had their first dance, but like that night had a lot of interaction between those guys, and especially his dad's name, George. Like he actually spent a lot of time with Marty, cooking up a plan on how they were gonna get him and Lorraine together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, like, I get it. You probably wouldn't remember someone that you only spent 7 days with back in high school 30 years ago. But at the same time, it wasn't just like a random classmate. It was someone that led to a pretty significant moment in your life. So I don't know. But it's also a weird thing that they're like, Marty, that's a good name. And then be like, we'll wait. we'll sit on this name for a little bit.
Well, also wondering too, like if you think about it, they all were under the assumption that because of his underwear, his name was Calvin Klein.
Yeah.
So perhaps they're like down the line when they see, Calvin Klein underwear, and then they see who Calvin Klein is. They're like, yeah, that's him. That's the guy I went to school with.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's also like I'm sure that's happened where people over time have misremember stories, like saying, I was over at skip school with Tony over here, and we got in car wreck and wrecked this guy's car, and over the time it's like, oh yeah, well actually I was out with Steve and I wrecked Tony's car, and people are like, oh yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. Or
Just misremember things.
Shaq was in Shazam.
Kazam, he was Kazam.
Oh, Kazam. Sorry, Sinbad.
I never saw Kazam.
I never wanted to. Never had the urge.
Kazam or Steel. Anything with Shaquille.
Anything with really. Yeah. Was he?
I did play Shaq Fu though on Super Nintendo.
Well, yeah, of course.
Because you had to.
You had to. I'm pretty sure it's available on the Switch, like the SNES emulator on the Switch.
No,
I think it might be. Either that. No, I may have just installed it on the SNES Classic. I have
okay.
side loaded it, but I know that I have played Shaq Fu within the last 3 years of my life, at least once.
Every night before bed.
Every night before. Shaq Fu.
Shaq Fu.
Like, do I want to play Mortal Kombat or Shaq Fu? Going with Shaq Fu again.
Yeah, of course. It's not even a debate.
No.
Oh man. All right, I think that's where we can end things for this evening. A little bit of Shaq Fu.
Pretty much a conversation ender all the time.
It's the video game equivalent of somebody saying okay.
Yeah. All right then.
So what are you doing tonight, Shaq Fu? Okay.
Oh.
We'll talk to you another night then.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself. All right. That's Open Collar. He's Vishal Cory. We'll stay home. Keep it casual.
Yes, stay home.
Stay home. Keep it quarantined.
There you go.